Ladies and gentlemen, we all enjoy chess bots. We like to play against them. Whether it's Martin, the dumbest bot on chess.com, or Stockfish, the strongest bot on chess.com, or whether it's getting your game analyzed after it's finished by the chess.com game review, which tells you that you're brilliant, or which tells you that you're stupid. Some of us use chess bots to cheat during live games. Don't do that, you'll get banned. In any case, chess bots have been better than humans for nearly 30 years at this point in 2023, but we don't really care. In fact, we keep innovating. About a month ago, I made a video about Torch, a brand new chess bot that was made by several team members and is being championed by chess.com. And Torch destroyed everybody except Stockfish. But in today's video, I'm going to show you a game where Torch completely obliterated Stockfish recently in the last couple of weeks here in August of 2023. And I'm also going to show you a couple of games where Torch absolutely obliterated Leela, which is basically the second or third strongest computer in the world. So sit back, relax, and enjoy these 4 ridiculous bot chess games. This is like watching the 2 biggest gorillas in a zoo exhibit just have a slugfest, and we sit back and relax because we don't understand what's going on. Yeah, enjoy. Stockfish had the black pieces and opened up with a Sicilian defense. Now, normally when bots play against each other, if you just paired them to play the best moves, bots would always play e4, e5. So the way you determine who is the strongest engine is you make them play the same opening against each other, right? So like the next time that these two play, Torch will have black. So let's see how Torch handles this Sicilian defense. It plays knight to f3 with the intention of playing pawn to d4, and that is exactly what happens. And black, aka Stockfish, does not play a Taimanov, but instead plays what's called a Khan, a Paulson Khan. This is a light squared Sicilian opening. And then you try to fight on the dark squares with your bishop and your queen. White plays c4, which is one of the ways to play. The other way is to put the knight in front of the c-pawn and then develop your bishops. Sometimes you castle queenside, sometimes you castle short. Beautiful thing about chess is you have choices. c4, though, fighting back on the light squares, taking a little bit of space. Black plays knight f6, white plays knight c3, and black plays queen c7, which fights on the dark squares, puts pressure on the pawn that you put on c4. Life is good, nothing complicated just yet. And now white plays this move a3. This is a good move because it prevents bishop to b4. And if you don't prevent bishop to b4 and instead you play like bishop e2, black is going to go here. And by that point, it's too late because after take, you're just losing the pawn in the center. So a3. Black develops the knight, white develops the bishop, and white just wants to do this, right? But Stockfish gets provocative. Stockfish attacks the pawn on c4 and basically makes white defend it. Except white doesn't. What? So this? Actually, no. Actually, no, that is not the idea. In fact, that's actually very dangerous for black because even though you want a pawn, after rook c1, your queen is a massive target and actually can't move anywhere. Your queen can't go this way, or that way, or that way. The only way your queen can go is straight back. And then I go here, double attack on your queen, and then I put my knight exactly where that queen is, and then I fork you. So instead of that, black does this, but black lost a little bit of time doing this, and Torch basically says, look, I'm going to put my pawns forward, Stockfish. I'm threatening e5, I'm threatening f5. What are you going to do? Rook c1, castles. This is the position. Okay. 2 biggest gorillas fighting in a zoo exhibit, right? Torch, Stockfish. Best computer of all time. The modern day Stockfish versus the new computer on the block. The young fighter, you know, the hungry fighter, who's still kind of going paycheck to paycheck. What are we going to get here? Torch plays b4, utilizing all of its forces to come forward. Pawn to b4, trying to create something on the queen side. And if you don't create anything on the queen side, at least you're taking space. You'll notice that white's pawns fight on every one of these squares. Because when I say fighting, it's not about pushing. It's about capturing. So you look at what squares these pawns can capture, and they can capture across the entire rank. And that nobody cares about that square, but white's got good backup there too. And I mean, white could also play g4, by the way. So bishop d7. Now, a very important move, king to h1. So always a nice move if you want to create a same side attack. Your king is just safe and it's off of this diagonal. Black plays b6. It's very clear that you know, the way Stockfish is playing, the Stockfish is like this. Like, come on, like, do your worst. Come on, elbows tucked. Protecting here, you don't want your hands out here because if the punch comes in, it's going to ricochet off your head. That's what I learned in boxing class. b5. Okay, so we're trying to attack over there, clearly. Take. White's position looks really good, but I mean, so far it's just a tense fight. I mean, it's an overall pretty equal position. And, in this position, Stockfish said, okay, great. I don't know why you put the bishop there. That was a stupid move. Stupid move. I don't know why you did that. I'm just going to get your bishop. Now you got to retreat. I'm going to take the pawn. Except in this position, the entire purpose of the move bishop to f3 is revealed, although it doesn't make any sense at first. It doesn't make any sense at first because you're a dumb human. Like, I don't know if you're actually dumb, but compared to these things, you're... Remember, watching the gorillas fight at the zoo exhibit. So there is no point playing the move e5 now because knight takes f3. So white plays e5, allowing knight takes f3. What? Okay, well, it's just a fair trade, right? This is the idea. No, look what happens to the eval. It's back to equal. Wait a minute. So what's the idea? Is it rook f3 and over here? No, because now black is winning. What? So what is the idea? Oh, it's probably to take the knight. That makes a lot of sense. Not a bad move. No, the idea is... Okay, we got a bishop taken, and our response to that was not to take the knight or the knight, but to go here. The point, we're threatening to take this bishop. And the knight is still hanging. And this knight is still hanging. And black can't really stop anything, all of that. Okay, so black takes the knight. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Now we're going to go here, and then we're going to take one of these back. No, we're going to take the knight now. What? Well, now the bishop is hanging, and the bishop is hanging, and the knight is hanging. But why would you allow this to be preserved? Because now... Oh... Because when the knight moves, now you're going to take that bishop, so there's no more threat there. Well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Now rook takes c6, f takes c7, and now black moves the... Oh, the rook is hanging, but this is mate! If you take this and make a queen, then after this, black is threatening the queen and mate. The only way to stop that is to go here, but then I take the bishop. And now it's just a complicated game where black just kind of pressures for a long time. And I guess instead of doing all that, black plays rook c3, queen b2, and my friends, the sense of humor on bots, it promotes to a knight. And now Torch has to win this endgame. And what's funny is, Torch evaluated this endgame as completely winning for white. Stockfish didn't. Actually, Stockfish, look, even browser Stockfish does not think it's that much better for white. Because black has 6 pawns, white has 4. So it's a knight and 2 pawns for a rook, which is 5-5. But white is doing much, much better here because white has really good long-term opportunities to attack on this side of the board. By the way, you will notice that the move rook a1 just got played. That may confuse you. Why is the computer sacrificing the rook? Because of queen b6, threatening the rook and mate! What? It just played rook a1. Just rook to a1 with the rook hanging right here. Rook c8 check, the king is hunted out. And now rook c7 and just king h2. And the king is safe from checks. You're going to try to win these pawns. You're going to try to put pressure. Queens come off the board, but the rooks are just better than the rook and the knight. And watch as Stockfish's eval just starts growing. Stockfish starts realizing in slow motion, oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm in trouble. Rook f6, look at this brutal hunt now on the pawns. One pawn has fallen. Stockfish doing its best to defend itself. h4, prying the defenses apart. King g1, knight e4. And unfortunately, the rooks have been forcefully traded off the board, and it is a completely lost endgame. It's completely lost because black's king is completely stuck on the back rank. King h5. Look at that. Look at this jump. For a while, it was like, oh, it's equal. And now it's like, oh, no, I'm definitely losing. And now, rook e6. And in all of these moments, you're going to take the pawn. Rook e... Oh, it's just such a nice move. If takes, pawn takes, and you promote. And Torch cleanly converts a king and rook versus king endgame. Stockfish not resigning. Rook d6, rook a6. An absolute obliteration. Punctuated by this crazy sequence in the middle game where Torch opened the attack and then just went knight c6. And the absurd configuration of the black position where 3 pieces are hanging at the same time. Take, take. The knight comes out, you take the bishop, and now here rook c3, counterattack mate. And the promotion to a knight is just, I mean, it's hilarious stuff. Torch has been on fire as of late, giving up all of its pieces in all of these games. Here's a game that I played against the Dutch bot Rofgade. Dutch folks, y'all name things in a way that is very difficult to pronounce for a dumb American like myself. So I'm just going to say Rothschild. That's how an American would pronounce it. D4, we have what's called a Benoni, kind of like an Indian defense, like the Indian game. Black plays e6 and then plays b5. Now this is actually called the Blumenfeld. It's called the Blumenfeld counter gambit. And in a nutshell, the idea is to go here and take a pawn. So white is a pawn up, but black gets a big center. I've played this on both sides, and I don't understand it with either color, which is sort of how you play chess. So, you know, I can't really vouch for this either way, but in this game, Torch plays bishop g5, which is considered the main move. Now, you may ask yourself, isn't this a free pawn? And I would basically answer that by saying yes, but then white gets a really big center, knight c3, white wins this pawn back, so it's not exactly a free pawn. b4, knight a6, and the reason why this opening is not good for computer chess, computers really are good at dominating positions where they have a space advantage, and they're really good at dominating positions where pieces are offside. Like, you know, not like football offside, but, you know, on the edge of the board, not like behind the enemy pieces. This knight just can't really get back into the game so easily. Humans don't really capitalize these advantages that well, but computers are and this game is just so brutal. And the next two games are just absolutely ridiculous. D takes, F takes. You know, white just developing normally, and like a normal human being here, just castles, and, you know, black plays bishop e7, and we just play a normal game of chess, as you can see from the evaluation. Yeah, these things are not normal, though. The big gorilla just beat the other big gorilla, so now it's going to go fight a medium-sized gorilla. And in this position, Torch plays h4 for no reason. I mean, really, there is, like, absolutely no reason to play this move. And by the way, this is Stockfish, this eval bar. So we have Torch, Rofgade, and we have Stockfish on the sidelines going, I have taught you very well. h4, bishop b7, and now we see the purpose of the move pawn to h4. Bishop takes f6. And you say, okay, oh, I get it. Oh, white wants to go knight g5. Ah, that makes a lot of sense. After bishop takes g5, h takes g5, now we have a big attack. If pawn to g6, I got news for you. That doesn't stop anything. Rook h7. Look at this. Queen h5 check, you can't take. It's forced mate. Oh, I get it. Well, the idea is to put the knight on g5. But what if black goes here? Ah, yeah, that kind of stops everything, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a problem. Well, you see how this thing just spiked? Stockfish sees what Torch sees in this position. So you can't go knight g5. At first glance in this position, the computer goes, okay, well, you know, I got g4 and rook g1, and that's, you know, that's my idea. Can't go knight g5 anymore. Frankly, can't really move the knight anymore, but backwards, and that's not what we want. So in this position, Torch plays a move that the black computer did not even see. When this move came on the board, the black computer went, God damn it, what? Is this dude cheating? It's funny. Funny joke. In this position, Torch played the move, knight to d4. Which just looks like you're 500. I mean, it just looks like you hung a knight. Now, what is the idea of this? The idea of losing the knight, obviously, is to open the queen, right? Well, that's easy. Queen g4 check. No. Queen h5. No. f5. It's called interpose. I just get in the way of your attack. I just block your vision. What? Then what is the idea? Knight d4. I don't understand. cd4. Well, the idea is that you sacrifice another piece. I don't get it. What? King h7. So what? Queen h5? King g7. How do I... Oh. Oh. Now we see why. Now we see why the move h4 was so powerful. Because it wasn't just about advancing or anchoring the knight. It was a rook lift, which is why white waited to castle. Rook g3 is mate. The only way to stop this is to maybe hide your king. Rook g3, king f8, queen h6, king f7, queen h7, rook g8, and then I win your queen. Oh my god, knight d4. And at this point, Rofgade goes, all right, you know what? I'm not going to get mated. I'm going to have to just lose a pawn. And probably my rook. Knight to d4. Knight to d4 is the... and the idea of which is to give up a second piece to hunt out the black king to the g file where it has no oxygen and just hunted to its death. Queen h6 and made it in the center of the board with a pawn. I mean, this, what? So instead of that, Rovhada decides to lose a big amount of material, and the rest of this game is textbook. Activate the queen. There are two ways to win a winning position. Simplify down to a winning endgame or deliver a checkmate. And this way, Torch very cleanly defends against the pressure, wins as many pawns as possible, and it's going to go trade, or maybe not. It's going to push its h-pawn all the way to h7. Black is defenseless, king f2, and let's see if the bot has a sense of humor or if it's going to spare its opponent. King f2, rook g. I mean, look at this. Oh my god. Oh my god. And now rook g7 check, brutal, giving up a rook, returning to the g8 square. Do you see this? The bot has a sense of humor. What is the best move in this position? Making a queen. Obviously, making a queen. Instead, it plays king f2. Do you know why it plays king f2? Because it can. It can queen on the next move. The bot is such a scumbag. It plays king f2. What? King to c8. Now it trades, now it makes a queen, and now it comes back and it takes, and, you know. I feel like these computers have one move every game where they just disrespect. d6, queen c7, no stalemate, and a checkmate has been delivered. This dude really played, it played king to f2. And knight to d4 was just otherworldly. I got two more games for you. These are against Leela, which is basically the number 2, number 3 ranked bot in the world besides Stockfish. And yeah, my friends, what you're about to watch is just, oh my god, it's real bad. Oh, it's real bad. Let me take a sip of coffee. I'm gonna need it for this. This is yeah, this is crazy stuff. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. e4, d6. This is called a check Pirz. This is the Pirz with g6 and bishop g7. This is the check Pirz. f4. Queen a5, pinning the knight to the king. Bishop d3, defending the center. Black plays e5. Torch locks the center. So the dark squares are a bit weak, right? Opportunity to fight on the dark squares for black. But white has a nice space advantage, and as you can imagine, might attack over here if given the opportunity. And that is why in this position, white plays knight h3. White does not play knight f3. White wants to defend the pawn on g4 if it makes it there. All right, so this is already a very clear indication from Torch that I'm going to play g5 and I'm going to attack you, which is why black plays h6. Torch plays bishop c4, okay? Pressure here, potential to play g5. Now, Torch cannot very quickly castle queenside because black will go here. If Torch does succeed in castling queenside, like this, Torch is going to get a fantastic attacking position. Down the center, down the king side. Okay, terrific. Bishop c4. Bishop b4. Bishop d2. And black comes in with the queen. A lot of pressure. Pressure on the knight, the bishop, the pawn, the bishop, the diagonal. And, you know, knight f2 is good here. h4, g5, trying to make some preparations. Rook d1, long castle. No, Torch plays g5. Okay, obviously the point being that if pawn takes, the knight goes, and then there's good pressure here. But I got a question. What about g5, bishop takes? Right? Point being that you're going to lose the pawn. That's the whole idea. So you're going to lose the pawn on e4. And after you lose the pawn on e4, you're going to have to trade queens. Well, that's really unpleasant. So what is Torch going to do about this position? Well, if you had the attention span to watch 19 minutes of this video, you're going to be very happy with what I am about to show you, because this is sick, okay? This is sick stuff. Obviously, white has to trade the queen. White's just got to figure out a way to do it because the rook is hanging. So, for example, if white castles here, you know, you're going to lose this, and then this is going to come here, and then you're going to lose this. It's going to be really unpleasant. So, with the rook hanging and the queen staring at each other, in this position, Torch plays pawn takes knight. Wait. Torch sacrifices the rook. But it doesn't come back to defend itself. It sacrifices another rook. What? In one move, it just lost both rooks. Look at Stockfish. A move ago, Stockfish had no idea what was going on. It was thinking that this is equal. And suddenly, look at that eval. Look at that eval. Stockfish is like, oh yeah, we cooking now. We cooking now. The idea is to butcher the black position down the center line. Because white is playing with a queen, a knight, a bishop, and 2 pawns. 9 plus 9 plus 2. 20 points of material at the king. Black has 2 rooks, but they're in the corner. I mean, black is basically playing with 2 pieces of material that are just not in the game at all. How does black stop this onslaught? Knight takes e5. If queen takes e5 check, the bishop will block, and then black will castle. So black is moments away from defending themselves with bishop e5, knight e5, which is why before Torch takes with check, it flicks in this move. For a moment, Torch is down 10 points of material, and yet Torch is completely winning. This is unbelievable stuff. Torch is completely winning despite being 10 points down. Why? Because black has to defend the rook, black has to defend the knight, and black has to defend the king. Rook g8, now I come to collect, and now a very important move, my friends. If you take like this, oh is a check. You know how you prevent that? By taking with the bishop. Black cannot castle into a check. If black gives a check, I run here. I also have a block check, which is crazy. So instead of that, the king would just run. But in the game, black goes here, trying to go queen takes g7, bringing the rook, and white's king just walks out to c3, walks out to b3, and blocks. The queen, the rook, not powerful enough to attack the king. F takes e6, the pawn sneaks through, mate is threatened, f7 is threatened, black is on the verge of death. The only chance that black has here is a perpetual check, so black sacrifices their own rook. Queen b2, queen b1, the king is in the center of the board, but the king is going over here to get the support of his pieces. King f3, king g3, king h4, and when it comes this far, the queen slides back. Mate is now not a thing, but we get into an endgame where Torch has a horse, and it's good to be on a horse. If you remember the Old Spice commercials of the old days, h5, h4, and white is just going to convert the game by winning the black pawns, knight f4, king c3. You'll notice that Torch hasn't even taken this pawn because it has a sense of humor. Like, it literally just has a sense of humor. The pawn's not going anywhere. Finally, it takes a4, a5. White is pushing on both sides of the board, a5, and it makes a queen, queen e4. It doesn't need a second queen. It knows how to checkmate, geometrically restricting the black king to only one legal move, and queen to g7 check. This was one of the most absurd attacks I've ever seen. Just when it looked like black had stopped white's initiative, taking the knight, sacrificing 2 rooks. Oh my god. And it just absolutely blasts open the center of the board, prevents the black king from castling, walks the white king to the edge and blocks the attack, and wins this in a convincing endgame. And the best part of this video is that I have one more game for you. Listen, you know my videos, they're about 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. You know, you can enjoy this with a meal or while taking a shower or while driving. You know, hopefully you don't watch the screen while you drive, unless you drive a Tesla, because I think they have the big screen. But I got one more game for you, and then you can go. Yeah, Torch has really been on a roll. We have another Benoni. Last time we had this. Remember knight f3 b5 in the second game of the video from the opening? Remember this? Looks the same. That's not what we got in this one. Knight c3. This is a real Benoni. Black plays d6. Black wants to advance a6 b5. Black wants to play here, play on the e file after castling. White, very common idea is to play knight d2 to put the knight on c4 to put pressure. Also to prevent a6 b5 by playing a4. All of that is going to happen. Knight c4, a4. You see, I wouldn't lie to you. Now, white sets up very comfortably, defends the pawn on d5, disallows black from getting very typical play. And as always, Torch is going to start an attack. g4. Of course. Bishop g5. Leela takes the knight because it wants to play f5. There it is, and it wants to play f4. So what does Torch do? Puts the bishop on the home square. You see, pawns cannot go backwards. I know you didn't know that before you clicked on this video. Pawns can't go backwards. Once you commit a pawn forward, that's it. So Torch is basically left like, all right, so what are you going to do with this? You play f4, that looks interesting. I'm going to play e3. So what are you going to do? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I move my bishop out of the way so my pawns can go forward. You thought you were attacking me? It's like judo, all right? You get closer, I step back, I use your momentum against you. Flip. Right? Takes. e4. Bishop g5. f4. And now here comes the attack roaring forward. Now, Stockfish, as always, is just kind of saying, hey, it's still a complicated game. Look at black coming out with the queen. You could defend this pawn. Instead of that, we give it up completely. We say, all right, come and take it. You want it so bad, come and take it. Now we're trying to trap the black queen in the position. Black queen escapes to b4. Now rook a4. Oh, all right, looking a little bit unpleasant, but now c4. Very well timed. Very well timed move. You take the queen, I take the queen, and then I sneak in. The queen can get out to c5 now. So now we kind of try to, prevent that. Position looking nice. So right now, Leela, up a pawn, up a pawn. Everything is good, everything is good. But white's got more space. You want to play where you're stronger in the center. e5. All right, knight b6, counterattacking the rook. The rook slides out of the way, knight h5. Opening up the f-file, maybe rook e8. It's a very tense position. Now white plays king h2. Gets off of this, gets out of a check potentially. It covers the g3 square. h6, now white goes into hunt. But that was black's idea. Now we take on e5, attacking the queen. The queen takes. Pressure here, eyes over on g7. Potential to push both the pawns. Be a little careful though, queens can see each other. Rook f2, check, but we block. We take, but rook c7. Oh my goodness, wait a minute, what's happening? Pressure there, this is hanging. Bit of a tongue twister of a position. Now rook takes the knight. Rook takes b7, rook e8. I mean, it's a very close game. All right, Torch is just very slowly and methodically applying pressure and has the pawns, but how is Torch actually going to break through here? Queen e5, rook b8. We're looking for a rook trade. The bishop drops back, hits the queen. The rook sees the rook, the rook sees the rook, the rook sees the queen sees the rook, but the rook can't take the queen because the rook is pinned to the king. Queen a4, and here we go. You ready? Rook a2! Hitting the queen, prying the defense of the way from the rook in the corner. Takes. The king slides out of the way. Now, rook e7. Putting the pressure here and here and here, and the d-pawn can still go. Rook g3, counterattacking, that's mate. That is a checkmate. So we give a check. The bishop blocks, now we push. Anywhere the bishop moves is a discovered attack. The bishop runs away, sacrificing itself so the pressure is relieved, but it's a fork. That was the big idea. If you take it's a fork, white says, no problem. Take the queen! I get the bishop, I get the rook, you take the queen, no problem. And guess what? Queen b3. Did Torch miss something? Because Torch is going to lose a bishop. No. +5. How is it +5? Like this. f6 check. Pawn blocks. And now you would think f7, right? No, because queen d6. And it's a draw. So you know how Torch is going to win this game? All the way back here, you know how Torch is going to win this game? Watch the king. This is one of the most gangster king walks I've ever seen. The king goes to f4, and to win the game, the king joins his forces, joins his troops. Check is no longer possible, and if you check the king from the other side, the king continues to move forward, shielded by his soldiers, pawn to d6, bishop to b7, sliding into d7, and now the rook sacrifices itself to promote a queen, and the white king makes it all the way to the other side of the board to facilitate the advancement of the d-pawn. Queen to d4, d8 queen, takes, queen e7, and you think you know the rest. Queen to g8, I mean, that came out of nowhere. It was a tense position. White was improving the position, creating winning chances. Bishop to e8 looked like you couldn't take because of the fork. Torch took and gave up the queen, and the king walks to the opposite side of the board to win this game. White only won this game because the king defended everybody and created a fortress around himself to advance. And that's what won the game, ultimately by checkmate on the G8 square. Torch has been on fire, creating highlight reels against Stockfish, against random other bots that are rated like 3,500. Leela, I can't wait to see where this goes. Very, very fun to track. And yeah, let me know if you like the Torch videos, because I'm going to keep making them. That's all I have for you today. You know the drill. Check out the book, How to Win at Chess. Available in the US, available in the UK. Check out Waterstones. Use code LevyChessWin. Get 25% off for now. If you're watching this in the future, it's no longer a thing. Arpa Editores en España. Si tú hablas español, puedes comprar mi libro en pre-order. I think that's how you say it in Spanish. Puedo hablar español un poco, pero... and I don't know how to speak German, but it's available in Germany too quite soon. God bless, and I will see you in the next video. Get out of here.